Hi dear students, welcome to the English class. And in this class of video today, we are going to talk about an important grammar topics from the first year, and this topic is to be tested under question number 11. In the previous video, I have explained you the paper pattern of first year. So in this paper, that is 11th question is nothing but transformation of sentences. You are going to give 5 questions, and so this is second question under 11th question, that is nothing but a reported speech. And before we get into the topic reported speech, I would like to inform you all that the materials for first year and second year are available in our college office, and I recommend you all of you to purchase materials as early as possible, because these materials are very helpful for our reference of our classes. Okay, now get into the class. Now what is the topic? Topic of the day is reported speech. This is very important grammar topic, and you please pay a complete attention towards the class, because this topic will even be tested in degree or any competitive examination. It is not only helpful in intermediate level but also very helpful in degree or any competitive examination. So my dear students, I request you all to focus on this class very carefully. Now getting into the topic, reported speech. So what do you mean by the word speech? Speech is nothing but a language. Speech is nothing but a language. And can somebody tell me, why do we use a language? What is the purpose of using a language? And actually, we use language to communicate with the people. And why do we communicate with the people? What is the purpose of communicating with the people? And what do we share with the people? So here, by using a language, we communicate with the people, and by communicating with the people, we share our feelings, sometimes our emotions, and sometimes information. So here simply it is, speech is nothing but an information. Here information is reported, that means reported information. That means an information which is reported is called reported speech. So what exactly the word reported speech is? An information which is reported is called reported speech. So speech is nothing but information. We use speech to share our information, so that it is information, and information is reported. And information is reported, that is nothing but a reported speech. Here this information can be reported 2 ways, that is either direct or indirect. Direct or indirect. That means this information, or you can say it as this speech can be reported either directly or indirectly. If the speech is reported directly, that is direct speech, and if the same speech is reported indirectly, that is clearly indirect speech. Now if somebody asks you what exactly the word reported speech is nothing but both direct and indirect speech is reported speech. Both direct and indirect speech together said to be a reported speech. Okay, so this is all about definition and what exactly reported speech is, and what is a direct speech and what is indirect speech. Here, if the speech is reported directly, that is direct speech. If the speech is reported indirectly, that is nothing but indirect speech. Now, this both direct and indirect speech together said to be a reported speech. So now you can think that both reported speech, both direct and indirect speech together said to be a reported speech. Okay, now let us talk about direct speech. And what is a direct speech? First, what is a direct speech and how do we identify a direct speech? Let us identify direct speech. For example, so already we came to know that if the speech is reported directly, that is clearly a direct speech. For example, she said, comma, I have reached it. See, see, look at the example which is written on the board. She said, I have reached it. So this is what exactly is direct speech. And how do you say it is a direct speech? Direct speech is nothing but very simple. When you come across a sentence, which is quoted in between the inverted commas, that is clearly a direct speech. Very easy way to identify the direct speech. So the direct speech is nothing but a sentence which is quoted in between the inverted commas. A sentence which is quoted in between the inverted commas is nothing but a direct speech. Here in this direct speech, the exact words are mentioned. The exact words of the speaker are mentioned in between the inverted commas. So if the exact words are mentioned in between the inverted commas, that is clearly direct speech. Okay, now before getting into the how we need to change direct speech into the indirect speech, first of all let us talk about what are the parts of the direct speech. How many parts are there in the direct speech? So majorly direct speech has 3 parts. There are 3 parts in direct speech. Let me write you the part 1. The very first part is reporting part. Look at the class. Listen to the class very carefully. The very first part is reporting part. And the second one is reporting verb. Second part of the direct speech is reporting verb. And finally third part is reported part. See, once again let me read you all the 3 points. The very first part of the direct speech is reporting part, second one is reporting verb, and third one is reported part. Here, now let us identify these parts in the given sentence. See, there is a sentence before the comma. Okay, so before the inverted commas there is a sentence. Now I underlined she said. I underline a sentence in the given sentence, that is she said. Here she said is a reporting part. The part which is reporting something is called reporting part. This is a part 1. The part 1. So part 1 is a sentence before the comma, or a sentence which is not enclosed within the inverted commas. A sentence which is not enclosed within the inverted commas is nothing but reporting part. Or you can say a sentence before the comma. A sentence before the comma is reporting part. And now coming to the reporting verb. So this is said. S-A-I-D, said. Here said is a reporting verb. So where do we find said? The verb said which is found within the reporting part. As the verb is within the reporting part, so that it is said, clearly said to be a reporting verb. This is a part 2. Okay, so the very first point is a sentence before the comma, that is both subject and verb is together said to be a reporting part. And second one is verb which is in the reporting part is reporting verb. And finally this is reported. So first one is reporting, second one is also reporting. And finally the third part of the direct speech is reported part, the part which is already said. Okay, so now if you are asked what exactly the word reported part is, what exactly the part reported part is nothing but a sentence which is enclosed within the inverted commas. A sentence which is enclosed within the inverted commas is reporting part. That is the part 3. Okay, now once again I repeat. So direct speech has 3 parts, that is reporting part, second one is reporting verb, and third one is reported part. See, reporting part, reporting verb, reported part. What is the reporting part? A sentence before the comma. or out of the inverted commas. A sentence out of the inverted commas or before the comma. See, look at here. Before the comma is reporting part. And what are the words we find in reporting part? We find only subject of the verb and verb. And now coming to the second part, reporting verb. What is reporting verb? The verb within the reporting part is reporting verb. The verb within the reporting part is reporting verb. And finally third part is reported part. The part which is included or a sentence which is enclosed in between the inverted commas is reporting part. Now let's get into the how do we change these parts or this direct speech into the indirect speech. So let us practice first. There are simple rules to convert this direct speech into the indirect speech. Now let us talk now. Now to change direct speech into the indirect speech, the following rules are to be taken into the consideration. The very first rule is to identify the sentence of the reported part. We need to study the sentence of the reported part. And very second one is tense of the reported part. Tense of the reported part. Tense of the reported part. And thirdly, meaning of the reported part. So if you wanted to change the following direct speech into the indirect speech, you simply follow very ordinary rules. The very first rule of the changing direct speech into the indirect speech is sentence of the reported part. Already we came to know what exactly reported part is. Reported part is nothing but a sentence which is enclosed within the inverted commas. And this reported part is also said to be the actual words of the speaker. Whatever the words the speaker spoken comes under the inverted commas or closed within the inverted commas. So that we need to study, we need to identify, or we need to study what exactly the sentence of the reported part. And third one is tense of the reported part. And fourth one is meaning of the reported part. Now let us talk about first one, sentence of the reported part. We know that there are four kinds of sentences. There are four kinds of sentences. Do you know? Already you have studied in 10th class, and even from 6th to 10th classes I think you might have studied all the kinds of sentences which are very useful for our daily life. So let me introduce you all four kinds of sentences once again. The very first kind of sentence is declarative sentence. First sentence is declarative, or it can also be said assertive sentence, declarative or assertive sentence. And next one is interrogative sentence. And third one is imperative sentence. And finally fourth one is exclamatory sentence. Exclamatory sentence. Now dear students, if you wanted to change direct speech into the indirect speech, you need to focus firstly on kinds of sentence. What kind of sentence the given reported part is. What kind of sentence the given reported part is. And the given reported part comes under what sentence or which sentence. So whether the reported part comes under the declarative sentence, or the given reported part is an interrogative sentence, or the given reported part is an imperative or exclamatory sentence. We need to identify. Then how do we identify sentences? Firstly, already we came to know that declarative assertive is nothing but a sentence which starts with the capital letter and ends with the full stop. Or a sentence starts with the subject and ends with the full stop. That is clearly said to be a declarative sentence. In declarative sentence, a statement can be expressed, universal truth can be expressed, and scientific experiment can be expressed. So A sentence, if it is started with the capital letter and ends with the full stop, that is clearly said to be a declarative sentence. And second one is interrogative sentence. We know interrogative. There are two types of interrogatives, that is WH questions and also yes or no type question. If question is answerable to either yes or no, such questions are called yes or no type question. Whereas a questions which started with the WH words like what, when, where, how, these are interrogative questions. There are two types of questions, interrogative questions. One is interrogative and second one is yes or no type question. And now these interrogative questions can be ended with question mark, a punctuation marks, that is question mark. And another sentence is imperative sentence. This sentence is also ends with the full stop. Now how do you differentiate the difference between the assertive and imperative? Because both sentence ends with the full stop. Here see, look at the first sentence, declarative, and this declarative sentence ends with the full stop. And similarly imperative sentence also ends with the full stop. Then how do you differentiate the difference between the declarative and imperative sentence? There is a clue. Here declarative sentence starts with the subject. What is the subject here? Subject is nothing but a noun or a pronoun. Noun or a pronoun which is placed in the initial part of the sentence is subject. So if the sentence started with the subject and ends with the full stop, that is clearly nothing but a declarative sentence. Whereas if the sentence starts with the verb, basically all imperative sentences starts with the verb or ends with the full stop. If the sentence starts with the verb and ends with the full stop, that is imperative sentence. And finally, exclamatory sentence. A sentence that expresses sudden feelings, emotions, fear, horror, all these things. And exclamatory sentence normally ends with the exclamatory mark. Now, if you wanted to change this direct speech into the indirect speech, first of all, you need to focus on what kind of sense the given reported part is. And there you need to find if the reported part ended with the full stop and starting with the subject, you can say that the given reported part is in declarative sentence. Or if the same sentence ends with the question mark starting with the WH words or B forms, do forms, am forms, that is nothing but interrogative sentence. And imperative sentence starts with the verb and ends with the full stop. And finally exclamatory sentence is ended with the exclamatory mark. And the basic feature of all four kinds of sentence is to start with the capital letter. The common feature of all four kinds of sentence is to start with the capital letter. And you might have a doubt. What is a necessity or what is the importance of studying the kinds of sentence in given reported part? So here we have three parts in direct speech, that is reporting part and reporting verb, reported part. If you wanted to combine both reporting part with the reported part, there you need a conjunction, a linker to use to combine something. So that here a linker is needed. Then how do we add a linker? We need to take a linker based on the kinds of sentences. First here, if you find a declarative sentence, you should take a conjunction that. Whereas if you find interrogative sentence, there you should not use conjunction. Instead of conjunction, whatever the interrogative pronoun that is given in interrogative sentence, you should use it. And when you find imperative sentence, you should use full stop. Whereas when you find an exclamatory sentence, you should use conjunction that. But here in yes or no type question, if you find yes or no type questions, yes or no type questions, you go for using conjunctions if or whether. If or whether. So these are the very important. So we need to study the kinds of sentence of the reported part, given reported part, because to add suitable conjunctions to combine both reporting part with the reported part. The major parts of the direct speech are two, that is reporting part to reported part. There is a reporting verb also. But here to combine this reporting part with the reported part, there you should use proper conjunction. Then you should not take any conjunction which you like. you should take the conjunction according to the kinds of sentence which is written in reported part. If the reported part is declarative sentence, go for taking that. If the reported part is interrogative sentence, you should not use any conjunction as there is a conjunction itself. So all interrogative pronouns can be used as a conjunction here. And now, if you find the imperative sentence, you just go for taking two conjunction. And whereas if you find exclamatory sentence, again take that. And coming to the interrogative, already we discussed there are two types of interrogative. The first interrogative is an interrogative which is started with the WH question. Whereas a interrogative which is yes or no type questions. That means if you are asked a question, the answer is merely either yes or no. Such type of questions are yes or no type questions. If you find yes or no type question, you go for using conjunctions whether, if or whether. So these are the things. These are the things you need to consider before going to change direct speech into the indirect speech. And this is the first part today we discussed. And coming video, we supposed to discuss another part, that is tense of the reported part. And dear students, I request you all to maintain a proper notes of the reported part, reported speech. And this is very very important grammar topic. And this question can be tested under the 11th question, that is the second question under the 11th question. And thank you all of you. Thank you very much. If you have any doubt, you please drop your doubts in the comment box. Thank you all of you. Thank you very much.